Here is my LEGO Technic Quest Kodiak airplane. Has a nice sign here containing the IR receivers. The batteries down there. It's got a few opening things. The doors open with a bit of an interior. You can see that there. On this side we've got a cargo door that opens. A crate in there. It's partly there to cover up the M motor behind it, but there'd be cargo there. It's got a adjustable pitch propeller, which is coupled with the propeller motors. Because of some difficulties with my receivers, some of them broke, one of them's kind of weird, and V2 peculiarities, I ended up having to use a servo motor to control the speed control dial on the battery box. To run these motors up here, it shouldn't be necessary, but it was for me. So here we go, I will run it. Notice as the speed increases, the pitch should change. And if I stop the motors, you'll be able to see that the pitch is now like that. If I bring the pitch back to normal, you'll see that happen. So a servo motor controls the pitch, and media motors control the two media motors hard coupled spin the propeller. Another thing with this is that I have the servo and the M motors controlled separately, so if I want to have a reverse rotation propeller, like on the real one, I just have to flip a pole reverser. And then that'll happen. It has fully functioning ailerons, and the whole plane tilts when I use them. So this L motor here controls a rack that tilts the plane. This media motor here runs with a clutch gear, goes up through everything into here to control the ailerons. So, let's see it go. And back again. From the aileron's perspective. And notice that the controls on my remote are foot pedals, just like they would be on a real airplane. The airplane also has functioning elevators with an L motor to do that rack, and a medium motor back here to control the elevators. And like on a real airplane, or at least on some airplanes, pushing the wheel forward tilts it one way, and pushing the wheel the other way tilts it the other. The airplane also has a functioning rudder, and it can rotate on a turntable controlled by this L motor. Now for this function, the L motor also controls the rudder. So, there we go. From the rudder's point of view, that last part there, I think it got disconnected. And the control for that is the steering wheel here, also like on a reel. Finally, there are functioning flaps, controlled by a medium motor inside the plane. Now, it doesn't do anything dynamic when I do the flaps. I wasn't really sure what I could do. All it does is make more lift. But that doesn't always mean the plane goes up. Yeah. Anyway, so it's just that for that function. overall, this plane was quite an interesting project to make, unlike anything I've ever done before. It was pretty massive in dimensions. It doesn't have the most parts of any of my models, but the scale of this thing is immense. Otherwise, it was pretty interesting. It got me to try some new tricks. Like I had to get 3 shafts going through there and up into here, so I had to use extendable drive shafts in here, universal joints in there, and it was pretty complicated in the end, but it seemed to work fairly well. Also required a ton of motors, and it was just new territory for me, so I'm glad I've done this model.